Hey, my Zen friends. So good to have you back. I hope that you're doing okay and enjoy this upcoming 35-minute session that does focus on challenging your balance a little bit, but it's always fun just to give it a go, and if you fall over, just get back up, not a problem. And I'll see you on the other side. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So finding our grounding. Again, always options. You can either start sitting upright with your hands on your knees, maybe cupped in your lap. Otherwise, if it feels nice, you can always lay down onto your back. Knees either gently knocking together or feet, soles of your feet together, knees out to the side. Wherever you are, just starting to close down your eyes. And taking some really nice deep breaths in through our nostrils. And nice slow breaths out through our nostrils. So bringing our gaze inwards, continuing with our deep breathing. Lips just gently pressed together. Really filling up our bellies on the inhales. And full release on the exhales. Relaxing our foreheads, relaxing our jaws, our shoulders. Just starting to come into our bodies, considering what's going on inside. And try not to place a label on whatever's happening. You know, nothing's good nor bad, just is. And remember that our emotions are like weather systems. They come and they go. Nothing is permanent. So if you're feeling a little bit angsty right now, that's okay. Just accepting what we're working with. And if you're feeling really light and energetic, that's cool too. Wherever you are, taking another final deep inhale here. This time, let's part our lips and let it all go. Nice. And if you were on your back, just gently pressing up into a seated position. We're going to come into our reverse tabletop to start with, just to warm up our backs, our arms, our legs. So all 10 fingers nice and spread next to our bums, just slightly behind. Feet hip-width distance in front of us, knees bent. And really thinking about pressing into through our hands, through our feet as we inhale and breathe our pelvis up towards the sky. We want to really consider what's going on here with our necks, if it feels okay for you. There's always options. You can drop it straight back. If that's a bit much, just stay looking in between your knees, thinking about shoulders over wrists, knees over ankles, maybe even a little bit of movement forward and back might feel good. Just working on keeping our pelvis bone reaching high. Not here for long. And then gently releasing on back to the earth. Nice, guys. Crossing our ankles, rolling on over the top. Let's just settle on back into our child's pose. So, knees can either be as wide as the mat or together, whichever you prefer. Hands out as far as they'll go, about as wide as our shoulders, maybe even a little bit wider. On your next inhale, looking between our hands, coming to the tops of our fingertips, really finding some length in that spine. And on your exhale, allowing your heart to drop towards the earth. Our sit bones are heavy, reaching back towards our heels. All 10 fingers are nice and spread, forearms activated. Deep breaths in, full exhales out. When you're ready, we're just gonna walk our fingertips over to the right side of the mat. Inhale, reaching that left hand a little bit in front of the right. And then exhale, releasing our hearts back down to the mat. So just starting to come into our bodies, allowing them to open when they're ready to open. I was thinking a good analogy for this is kind of like a flower. Flowers open when they're good and ready. If you try to force the petals up and out, you can really do some damage. So we just need to be nice and gentle and patient with our bodies. And let's inhale back to center, gently over to the left side. Reaching that right hand slightly in front of the left, and then releasing our hearts down to the earth, enjoying really nice side body stretch. Breathing, finding some length. Releasing, maybe deepening your heart a little bit more towards the earth. Nice. And let's just gently press on up. Coming into our tabletop. So finding a nice neutral spine, eye gaze somewhere in front of your mat, in front of your hands. All 10 fingers nice and spread. Coming into our cat-cow just to open up our spine a little bit. So dropping our bellies, lifting our tail, shining our heart forwards on the inhale. And then exhale, dome our spine, tucking our tailbone down and under. Inhale, opening on up. Exhale, firm, pressing into the mat, dome in those upper shoulders. One more time, inhale, opening on up. Nice stretch in our bellies. Exhale, dome our spine. Nice. Great, coming back to our neutral spine. Now staying on our knees, maybe walking our hands forward a little bit more. We're in our modified plank pose. So you can tuck those back toes, really thinking about pressing firm into the earth, firing up our arms, turning our upper arms internally. And we're gonna start to lower down, keeping our elbows nice and tight into our bodies. Tailbones tucked down and under, bellies activated for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Releasing, untucking our toes, bringing our hands by our sides, palms up. Now we're going to move into our locust pose. So firming everything up, switching on our cores, our legs, inhaling, shoulders come up off the earth, hands levitate off as well, palms are up. And then maybe we play around with lifting our feet up as well. So on your inhales, we really think about finding some length as well as heights. And on your exhales, just see if you can deepen a little bit more. Couple more breaths here. Really thinking about reaching your hearts forward, crown of the head, reaching forward as well. Eye gaze just somewhere in front of your mat. And gently releasing back down. Nice. Just placing whichever cheek on the earth feels good. Taking a deep breath, reconnecting with yourself. We're going to do that one more time, but with a modification. So options to either do the same thing we just did, or interlace your fingers behind your back and inhale your chest up off of the earth, hands come up off your back, and maybe your feet come off as well. So on your inhales, really finding some length, some height. And then let's exhale back down to the earth. Really good job. Popping our hands alongside our chest. We're gonna tuck our back toes, press up onto our knees, and back into our downward facing dog. So remember here, you can have your knees bent as much as you need them to be. Hands as wide as our shoulders, maybe a little wider. Feet as wide as our hips. And maybe it feels nice just to stay still here and breathe into the backs of your legs. Maybe you're feeling like, ooh, I need to move a little bit. So just find some movement that feels good for you. Maybe bending one knee, bending the other, coming to the tops of your toes, releasing your heels back down. Just kind of getting intuitive, listening to our bodies, remembering that yoga teachers are just guides. We just offer suggestions, but you really are the owners of your practice. And when you're ready, we're going to inhale our right leg high to the sky. Hips squared off, toes towards our shins. And bring that right knee into our chest and then gently stepping it between our hands. And again, guys, if you can't quite get there on the first go, just grab your ankle and shimmy it on up. Not a problem. Wherever you are, just finding some stability. Planting our left hand down to the earth. Releasing that left knee down, and then inhaling our right hand high to the sky. Just enjoying a nice little side twist, nothing too crazy. And now your eye gaze might be up at your hand, it might be to the side, it might be down to the earth. Really important just to listen to your neck and go wherever feels best. Ready, let's release our hand back down to the mat. Find some strength in our bellies and our legs. And on your next inhale, reaching on up to the sky. Now, it can be intense here for some people's knees, so I suggest that you keep a pillow nearby just to pop underneath your knee if it's a bit intense. So, just like that. Otherwise, if you don't have a pillow, you can always roll up the back of your mat and use that. Wherever you are, let's find some length in those fingertips, but keeping our shoulders away from our ears at the same time. It's really tucking our left bum cheek down and under. So we're providing some stability for that lower back. And we should be enjoying a nice stretch at the front of that left thigh. One more deep inhale here, lengthening. Exhale, hands down to the earth. Now we're going to come into our half splits. So either with or without a pillow, just shimming that right foot forward as far as it will go. Flexing the right toes towards your shin and allowing your hips to drop back and over the top of your left knee. Coming to our fingertips, inhaling, finding some length in that spine. And then on your exhale, just allow your heart to reach towards your toes. We're not trying to get our chest onto our thighs here. It's really important to maintain the integrity in our spine and just enjoy a nice lengthening sensation. You can totally have a bend in that right knee, absolutely not a problem. It can be a big bend, it can be a little bend. Just as long as you're getting a nice stretch up the backside of that right leg. And breathing here. Beautiful. And when you're ready, we'll walk our hands back towards the front of the mat. Oh, bring those back toes to meet in the back of the mat. And then we'll tuck our toes and press on back to our upward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths here, just paddling out our feet. Nice. Now let's go ahead and do that on the left side. So inhaling our leg on up, really firm, really straight, nice and strong. And then bringing left knee to chest, stepping between our hands, shimming that foot on up. Right knee releases down to the mat. We plant our right hands. Maybe we're on tops of our fingertips. And then inhale, left hand up towards the sky. Just encouraging our hearts open. Again, eye gaze wherever feels best for you. And then releasing left hand back down to the earth. Now we're going to come into our low lunge once again, so consider whether or not you need a pillow. Pop it down there if it feels best. Really firing up those legs, the belly's rising on up. Reaching up towards the sky. And on your exhales, allowing your shoulders to drop away from your ears. Let's go ahead, release our hands back down, keeping the pillow there or not, whichever you prefer. Shimming our left foot out in front. Hips over right knee this time. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, heart towards toes. We want to think about pulling our left hip back or right hip forward. Nice, guys. And walking our hands back towards the front of the mat, working that left foot back towards our right, however you need to get there. Pressing firm into the mat and pressing on up back into our downward facing dog. Couple of paddle outs if you need some movement. And then inhaling that right leg back up to the sky. Knee to chest, stepping between our hands. Now this time we're going to keep that left knee elevated up off the earth, planting the left hand down, inhaling right hand up, another little side twist. But it's always an option. You can always drop that left knee back down if it's a bit much for your backs. And then releasing our right hand back to the earth. We're going to transition to our crescent pose, but we really need to be careful with our lower backs here. So, firm pressing through that right foot into the earth, back leg is activated, right thighs are super switched on, belly's on, coming to the tips of our fingers, everything's activated, maybe even coming off the earth a little bit, and then pressing through that right leg, rising on up. Crescent lunge. Now remember guys, our feet are like on train tracks here, so If you're a little bit unstable, you can always walk that right leg out a little bit more. And just get comfortable here, kind of feel where it feels good for you. Keeping that left hip forward, right hip back. Little bend in that left leg might feel best. Kind of neutralizes our pelvis a little bit more. And then let's inhale, reaching our hands high. Exhaling, twisting, left hand forward, right hand reaches towards the back of the wall. Nice, breathing here, not here for long. And then let's drop our right hand down. Inhaling our left hand up towards the sky. Maybe you play around with your balance and look up. Maybe you just fix somewhere on the ground to help you stay steady. Nice, coming back to center. Hands to our hearts. Really firing up that right leg like it's not already on fire. I know we're feeling this. Transitioning into our right foot, coming into our warrior 3. Not here for long, guys. Beautiful. Left foot next to right. Give that right foot a little bit of a shake out. I know it's been getting a lot of attention. And then bringing your hands to our heart center. I'll just move to the front so you can see. Start to close down our eyes here. Just enjoying a nice grounding mountain pose. Really firm through our feet into the earth. Tailbones tucked down and under. Maybe roll your shoulders up by your ears, down your spine. Finding our breath. Great. Now we're going to play with our balance a little bit, coming into our eagle pose. So, hands out by our shoulders, elbows bent. We're going to wrap our right arm underneath our left, and then raise our right leg, our right knee up, and wrap it over the top of our left thigh. And then just play around with it here. Maybe it feels okay to sink those hips further towards the earth. And really try to work those elbows upwards and press the hands outwards so we maximize what's going on in our shoulders. And if you get a little bit wobbly, not a problem. You can always use that right foot as a little kickstand. Just place it on the earth. Breathing here. Nice. And then inhaling, pressing on up, unraveling those arms. Readjusting, realigning. Let's inhale our hands back on up. Exhale, diving forward. Inhale, halfway lifting, nice straight back. Exhale, hands back to the earth, stepping back into our downward facing dog. Couple of deep breaths here. Nice. And when you're ready, let's go ahead and raise our left leg on up. Knee to chest, stepping between our hands. Right hand plants, inhale, left to sky. Maybe you come down to that right knee, whatever feels good for you. Left hand back down to the earth, firing up our legs, our bellies, finding some stability. Inhaling on up, crescent lunge. Remembering fingers reaching high, but shoulders away from our ears. Little bend in that back right knee. On your next inhale, let's find some length. And on your exhale, we're going to Twist right hand forward this time, left hand towards the back of the mat, and breathing here, working towards turning our hearts as far to the left as possible. Nice, then dropping our left hand down along our sides. Inhale, reaching that right arm up to the sky. Eye gaze wherever feels good for you. Nice, and then coming back to center, hands on up. Exhaling to heart center. Firing up that left leg, starting to transition all of our weight into that left foot, coming in to our warrior three. Breathing here. Right leg nice and strong, belly button pulling back towards our spine to protect our lower backs. And then releasing right leg back down to the earth. Have a little shake out. Beautiful. And then let's come to our eagle arms on this side. So hands out. Let's wrap our left arm underneath our right this time. If you can connect your palms, that's great. If you can't quite get there, that's okay. You can just have the outside of your hands touching one another. And then let's inhale that left leg on up, crossing over the top of our right thigh. And just allowing our hips to drop towards the earth a little bit. Thinking about keeping our elbows nice and high, hands pressing away from our face. Remembering we can always pop our left toes down onto the mat to provide us with a little bit more stability. Just breathing here, allowing our shoulder blades to drop down our spines. Pressing away from our spines, rather. Enjoying a really nice opening. Good job, guys. And then pressing on back up, unraveling those arms, rolling our shoulders up by our ears, down our backs. A couple more times. And then we're going to find our chair pose at the front of the mat. So, sinking our hips nice and low, hands either reaching towards the sky, out in front, at our heart center. Tailbones tucked down and under. To have a little look, make sure you can still see your toes sticking out the front. And then maybe it might feel nice to come to the tops of your toes. And we lower nice and slowly all the way down, coming on to our bums. Really good job, guys. And from here, we're going to just roll onto our backs, bringing our knees up into our chests, either together or apart, and have a little rock, side to side. Beautiful. And before we finish up, we're going to come into our eagle pose on our backs, just to make sure our shoulders are nice and open. So, right arm underneath left, right leg over left thigh. And we're going to inhale, dropping our fingers back behind our head, toes towards the earth. And then exhale, pull everything in, seeing if we can connect our elbows with our knees. Inhale, opening on up. Exhale on in. Let's do that twice more. Inhale, open. Exhale in. Last time. Squeeze it on in. Nice, releasing shoulders back to the earth, unraveling our arms, unraveling our legs, and then switching sides. So, right leg over top of our, left leg over the top of our right thigh. left arm underneath our right. Here we go. Inhaling, opening on up. Exhale, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Beautiful. Inhale, open. Exhale, squeeze it on in. Let's do that twice more. Inhaling, opening. Exhale in. Last time, open on up. Exhale, let's squeeze it on in. This time, let's hold it for 3, for 2, for 1. Nice. Unraveling those arms, unraveling those legs. Again, just another little rock, side to side. And then let's come into our happy baby. So gripping either behind our knees, or if you can reach the outside of your toe or feet, go ahead and do that. Wherever you are, thinking about keeping our lower back flush to the earth, pressing our heels high to the sky while we drag our feet towards the earth. You should be getting a really nice push-pull sensation here. Maybe a little bit of movement side to side, or you might like to press one leg out as far as it will go. Maybe try that on the other side. And just coming back to center when you're ready. Now from here, we're going to finish off by popping our feet straight up into the sky. Now a couple options here. Either staying just like this. It can also feel nice if you do have a block on hand to pop one just underneath your bums. Can kind of help provide a little bit of support, encouraging your hips high. And then we're going to reach our hands up towards the sky, but with our palms facing the ceiling. So our fingertips are pulling back towards our face. And our feet are pointed. And we're going to inhale, reaching our hands as high to the sky as possible. So it's like we're trying to plant our palms on the earth. And then releasing back down. Let's do that twice more. So inhaling on up, exhaling down. Last time on up, and full release down. Nice. Bringing our knees back into our chest. If you had a block, just go ahead and remove that. Beautiful. Finishing off with a little rock side to side. And then coming into our final resting pose, our Shavasana. So, getting nice and long here. Allowing our feet to splay out to the sides, palms up along our sides, or maybe it might feel nice to place one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. Or if you need to open your shoulders a little bit more, popping your hands over your head and gripping opposite elbows with opposite hands. Wherever you are, just starting to reflect on your breath. Really enjoying the shifting of all that energy. And perhaps asking yourself if anything feels a little bit different now as opposed to at the start of our practice. Maybe breathing in a little bit of gratitude and love into your hearts. And acknowledging that it takes time and it takes energy, and deliberate thinking around your health and the importance of it to get onto your mat. And the fact that you've done that today is a huge win for yourself and for our world. And on your next inhale, start to bring some movement into our fingers and our toes, and maybe reach our hands high above our head, toes towards the front of the room. Another deep inhale, arch in that lower spine, releasing or parting our lips rather, and letting it all out. And then let's roll gently onto whichever side we prefer. Might be nice to use your underarm as a little pillow. Keeping our eyes still closed down, really enjoying the last couple of really grounding breaths. And when you're ready, slowly pressing on up into a comfortable seated position. Hands wherever feels good, on our laps, on our knees, at our heart center. Rolling our shoulders up by our ears and down our spine a couple of times. Nice long spine, crown of the head reaching high. And then let's take one final deep inhale to seal our practice, filling everything up, our bellies, our middle lungs, our upper lungs, our earlobes, and then parting our lips and letting it go. Really nice job today, guys. It's a pleasure practicing with you. Namaste. Really good job working through that flow, guys. I know the eagle pose is one of the trickier poses, but it's really a good idea to give it a go once in a while and just challenge ourselves. So nice work. And yeah, I'm loving showing up and doing this for you guys every week. So thank you so much for continuing to participate. And a couple of folks have reached out and said, hey, do you mind if I share these videos? And absolutely, please share them. They're open to everybody, friends, family, colleagues, whoever. And yeah, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell thingy. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. We'll see you next Monday. Okay, so we're gonna start out by taking our 2 blocks. Now really find your grounding here, lengthen your spine, and we really need to focus because this is really one of the more tricky poses in the book that requires, stamina of mind and body. So to begin, we place 1 block on our heads, and then we take a 2nd block and place that on our heads. Yeah, nice. And then we pop our hands out like we're carrying a plate of drinks, and maybe we shimmy side to side.